Senn has been representing District 41 as its newest state senator for a few weeks now. And since that time, she's been dealing with issues, including the 526 extension plan. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with her one-on-one. Senator Senn.
I'm still not used to that.
Is that right?
No.
What has the past couple of weeks been like for you?
Well, it's just crazy. It's a crazy learning experience. Things move so fast in the Senate.
Oh, yeah.
People don't think they do. I think it's more toward the end that things are going to slow up. But these are some bills that were left over and in the pipeline from last year. Wow. So I'm playing catch up, trying to learn about them and how the Senate works, and a lot of archaic protocol there that I have to learn how to follow. But it's been very exciting.
Well, I'll tell you something that's still in the pipeline is the 526 extension. Let me take you to the Post and Courier headline that was just published, I guess, last night. It reads this: Charleston County gives initial approval to I-526 shortfall plan. Let me read a portion of that article to you. It says this: Charleston County has given initial approval to a plan to cover the more than $300 million shortfall for the completion of the Interstate 526. Despite concerns from both opponents and supporters, let me ask you this: what is your concern right now?
Well, actually, I think that the article, to be fair, should have said that I said county council made a great step forward last night. I think the reporter was quoting from some things I had told her the day before, where I was tussling around with a few of the council members as to what I'd like to see. But in any event, I do believe that they made a good step forward by at least identifying how much they're willing to spend and those kind of things. There are several matters that need to be accomplished between second and third reading. Certainly they need to identify a funding source, and then they need to, I think they've already evidenced their intent to complete the project, right. But he wants to see clear evidence of their intent and commitment to complete the project, not just the Johns Island portion, also the James Island portion.
And you're talking about Senator Hugh Leatherman.
Yes.
Let me turn back to this particular article because it reads this as well. County Council Thursday voted 5-3 in favor of an ordinance committing the county to covering the shortfall for the highway extension across Johns and James Islands. But it doesn't state specifically where much of the money will come from.
There are a number of revenue sources.
Okay.
There are a number, and so they just need to pick. And I don't really care, and I don't think Senator Leatherman really cares. Right. They just need to identify. He wants to see that they do have the funding capability, sure. Which of course we do, and then we'll be able to move forward from there.
And it also reads this in the Post and Courier: the proposal, which council must vote on 2 more times, was amended before the vote to state simply that the county would commit $150 million and $195 million would come from regional federal funds. Explain that to me.
Well, Chats is going to be meeting on Monday, so we still have some things to be determined there.
And it also says this: while council members didn't state specifically where the $150 million would come from, the ordinance says it would back that pledge with its AAA credit rating.
Yes.
Talk to me about that pledge.
Well, they're saying that they have such a good credit rating that we would be able to bond the money because we have such valuable property here in Charleston. So based on the value of the property in Charleston and our good credit rating, we would be able to use bond money if we wanted to.
And it also says this in the article: the plan Thursday stirred controversy among opponents, including the Southern Environmental Law Center, which is representing the Coastal Conservation League. And in a letter to County Council Chairman Vic Rawl, the group says it was opposed to the plan because it puts the county's credit on the line for a project with, quote, permitting uncertainties and escalating costs. It also says the $725 million project had an enormous price tag with meager transportation benefits.
Well, I disagree with the meager transportation benefits, and all of the rest of that is rehashed. They're going to be against the project. It doesn't matter why. Even if we had a gazillion dollars in the bank, they would still be against the project. So we're just going to have to respectfully disagree on this. There are a lot of things that are done in the name of conservation, and it's not really always about conservation. A lot of times it can be a little bit about obstructionism. And at this point, I think that after all this money's been expended and all this money's been built up and saved, you keep saying that the project's going to cost $750 million. I would suspect it's going to cost far, far less. But either way, even if it costs $750 million, the benefits will outweigh the cost, and everyone will see that once this project is finished.
Matter of fact, he told the Post Inquiry quote, the I-526 project is now literally on the 1 yard line.
That's right.
If the ball is fumbled, county council will be squarely to blame. Who else?
Well, because they've been told now what they need to do in order to get it, at least get one more vote on the SIB. And there are some other things going on as well, but I believe that we will then have the votes when we go to meet back in March. There may be a couple of other things that have to be tweaked.
Sure.
But I think at this point, County Council has an excellent opportunity to really do what most of the members have said they're in support of. If they're really in support of it, then they need to go ahead and fix the few little reasonable things that have been requested that we've just discussed.
So let me ask you this. What's taking them so long? And why is this such a huge problem for them?
I think that, like everybody else, there are people on both sides of the issue. But for me in my district, you have to keep in mind, I've got James Island, Johns Island, West Ashley,
Right.
and then even a portion into Somerville. Overwhelmingly, the people in my district are for it. So if you're watching this and you're in my district and you're against it, please know that it's not just my personal opinion, I paid for a very expensive pole, $6,000 I paid for the pole, and 78% of the people in my district are highly in favor of 526. So I'm listening to the populace, I'm listening to the voters, not just my own heart. But I believe that county council has struggled with it, mainly because, some of the county council members have been there a long time,
Sure.
and they dug their heels in on the project 10 years ago, and they just can't seem to open their eyes and look around. And 10 years ago, traffic wasn't as bad.
Right.
Fast forward till today, now you're seeing why we should have started the project 10 years ago.
You talked about Senator Hugh Levin earlier. I have to ask this. He really didn't have a good and really fundamental work relationship with Elliott Summey. Tell me, how did you become so professionally acquainted with him as far as this project?
Well, because I work with him now. He's now a colleague, and so we've been together in many circumstances. I have found him to be entirely reasonable, and everyone has told me that he never, ever goes back on a commitment. And I'm going to trust that because he's got many, many years in Columbia,
Sure.
and a lot of people who say he does not go back on a commitment. My approach and Elliott's approach are different.
Okay.
I approached him with respect, and somehow or another he and Elliott got sideways, but it doesn't help to spit at somebody like has happened. And I'm sure everybody wishes they could go back and unwind that clock and do things differently. But thankfully, now that I've been in there, he's certainly been willing to talk to me. He's met with me every time I've asked him to meet, and I do believe that he sees the value of the project, and I think we're going to work better together.
And are you working better together with Rick Ball on this project?
Last night, like I said, was a big step forward. Some concerns earlier in the week when I spoke to the reporter the first time.
Right.
But it's looking like he got the votes last night, which I'm proud of.
Okay.
Once we tweak it, then I'd say we're on our way.
Wow, that's good to hear. Well, State Senator Sandy Senn, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Thank you, Quintin.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you.